first thing we're gonna do here is we're gonna take the rear wheels off of the back here, obviously lift the car up, and then we're gonna remove the stock suspension that's busted on there, and then we're gonna go ahead in this episode and completely restore the rust that's going on under there. We're gonna sandblast, rust reformer, and then we're gonna spray a fresh coat of undercarriage protectant so it doesn't continue to happen again. We're gonna solve the issues. Alright guys, so this is what it looks like just under the wheel well. So starting from the top here, we're gonna start the sandblast. You can see there's some rust, surface rust here. None of it is structurally damaging the undercarriage of this car, which is a good thing. So we're gonna go ahead now and we're gonna start to remove the suspension with the shock here, and then we'll start on this side and we'll begin to sandblast. Lots of work ahead of us here, guys. Alright guys, so I'm going to begin the sandblasting process. I'm going to start from the top wheel well like I said to you earlier and work my way down, across and over to the other side so we cover pretty much every square inch that needs to be covered. So I'm going to link this portable sandblaster below on Amazon for you guys if you want to purchase it. It was like 20-30 bucks, wasn't that bad. And let's get to it. Alright guys, so I got the one coat on there. You can see some of the spots that I need more. But you see this area here, for instance, it's turning black. That means the rust has been converted over and protected chemically. So that's good. I'm gonna hit another round on some of the areas. Keep it going. This is a very, very long, tedious process, guys, so I hope you can appreciate this. Here's the good news. Most of this stuff is converting over, which is good, and this is going to take about 24 hours to really chemically do what it needs to do, so I am going to keep you posted here in the next 24 hours. Alright guys, this is under the car. Obviously, this is the exhaust, which we're not too worried about. I can address that. But the lower control arm mount here on the subframe up there, I'm going to get to that now. And then we'll work our way across over here. The last thing under here, which we'll get to later as well, is just these bottom of the floor pans. As you can see, they're just surface rust. So we'll take care of that as well. Make it look good. Let's do it. Hey guys, something just arrived. Freight. Don't think the camera's picking it up, but I'll go show it to you. Looks like our drive shaft has officially arrived. Nice. It's coming along, guys. We're gonna finish up that underneath, get that drive shaft in there. Before we know it, it'll be back to all-wheel drive. All right, guys, it is the next day here since we did this side of the sandblasting and rust reformer. I'm gonna show you what it looks like today. I also want to just let you know we got the drive shaft in. The drive shaft is now in. So as soon as we complete all of the rust restoration and undercarriage respray, which is what we're gonna do, we will put the new Hirsch suspension on, get that drive shaft on, and probably call it a wrap for underneath this car. So check out what it looks like under here. I got some of the debris from sandblasting, which obviously will come right off, but you can see how most of the rust is now transformed. So what we'll do is to finalize everything is we'll just give it a nice undercoat spray and wrap it up. So let's keep going. Be sure to subscribe, give this video a like, and drop a comment below. You guys are awesome. Let's get back to work. This takes hours, guys. It's a lot of work. So to speed up the process, I'm probably gonna start to wire brush more of the blanketed areas that aren't pitted, just to resurface them. And then the areas that look like they have rust underneath, like paint that is like bubbling, I'll probably hit it with the sandblaster. So let's get to it. All right, let's do it. Before we do more sandblasting, I'm going to start removing the suspension on this side now. Well guys, the big popping noise that we were getting on this side is clearly from the shock completely leaking out. This thing is done. So I'm gonna add it to the collection and prepare it for the new stuff. Progress, progress. Here's the rear spring, guys. We have the Hirsch springs to go in there, so. Alright guys, now we have all the suspension off, spring and shock, both sides. I took off the other side real quick since it was pretty easy. I'm gonna start to sandblast this wheel well like I did the other side, and then we'll work our way back down to the passenger side that you just saw me wire brush and do everything on the driver's side. We'll do the same thing on this side, blow everything off, prepare it for rust reformer, let it dry, and in the next episode, what we'll end up doing, I'll announce it now, is I bought a rubberized undercoating for the undercarriage here. So everything that is rust reformed will then receive a top coat with a rubberized finish, so it shouldn't rust ever again. It should hold its structure. The structure of this car is good. It looks terrible, but it's really not that bad. So I'll keep saying it till it's done. All right, guys, as you can see, maybe, hold on. As you can see, the rust reformer is now taking effect on a lot of these spots. They're all starting to turn black. So it's working. I am officially out of rust reformer, so I'm gonna have to go get some more. I'm gonna probably leave this video off on one last note. I am going to prepare the Hirsch Performance suspension right now to go back in the car when it's ready to go back in, so it's there. So let's do that now. And then in the next episode, after this rust reformer all cures and settles and does what it needs to do, I'm going to be putting a rubber coating on top of all of the metal parts that lost that film of paint, and replace it with the rubberized undercoating so we do not get future rust. So let's do this Hirsch Performance stuff now. I'm gonna undo the shock mount here. As you can see, they're on here. So let's do it. Alright guys, we have our Hirsch shocks ready to go. As you just saw, we put the mounts on there. This car is being restored from every nook and cranny. We now have a sports suspension for the rear. We got the new suspension up front. We're fixing the rust on the panels. We painted the fenders. Now we're just finished, as you saw, sanding, sandblasting, and wire brushing all of the surface rust underneath this car. It is coming along nicely. You just saw me do a nice spray of rust reformer. I'm going to let that cure for the next 24 hours. And in the next episode, we're going to take a rubberized undercoating coating, a rubberized undercoat, and paint it onto all metal surfaces to protect them from future rust and give this thing a nice finish underneath the car so it looks halfway decent. Obviously nobody's seeing it, but I want to make sure we're doing everything as right as possible. So that's where we're at today. So be sure to drop a comment, give it a like. If you guys want, it's the holiday season. Check out the merch below. Buy yourself one of the hoodies and sweatshirts or t-shirts that I designed just for you. And be sure to stay tuned because we have a lot more coming with this TurboX. So we will see you guys next time.